Reaching the remarkable age of 95 brings a lifetime of memories, achievements, and emotional reflections that can feel both inspiring and bittersweet, especially for someone who spent decades in the spotlight portraying strength, independence, and resilience. The idea of tragedy in later life is often less about one heartbreaking event and more about the quiet emotional realities that come with aging. Watching old friends and collaborators fade away, seeing the film industry transform into something almost unrecognizable compared to the early days, and feeling the deep nostalgia that arrives when a career stretches across generations. A legendary figure known for iconic westerns, powerful dramas, and a calm, commanding presence may appear invincible on screen. Yet behind the scenes, time moves just as relentlessly as it does for everyone else. Fans sometimes interpret the natural slowing of public appearances or creative output as sadness. But it can also reflect a shift toward introspection, personal priorities, and moments of peace away from constant attention. Over decades, a career filled with critical acclaim, directing triumphs, and cultural influence can lead to a sense of fulfillment, mixed with quiet reflection on how quickly years have passed. The emotional narrative surrounding later life often focuses on loneliness, but it may actually be about gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunities that defined an era of filmmaking, for the audiences who supported countless projects, and for the personal relationships that shaped the journey behind the camera. Aging publicly also means that every change in appearance or health becomes a topic of speculation, turning ordinary life transitions into dramatic headlines that can exaggerate reality. The true emotional weight may come from the contrast between the fearless characters audiences remember and the more reflective, slower-paced rhythm of life in the 90s, where energy is conserved and priorities become more personal than professional. The idea of heartbreak may stem from fans confronting their own sense of time passing, realizing that the stars who define their youth are entering the final chapters of long, remarkable lives instead of constant film sets and award ceremonies. Later years may involve quieter routines, spending time with family, revisiting old memories, and appreciating the legacy left behind. There is also a deep emotional layer in knowing that cinematic eras come and go, that once familiar colleagues are no longer present, and that the industry itself evolves beyond the styles that defined earlier decades. Yet alongside any sense of loss is an equally powerful feeling of pride in artistic accomplishments that continue to influence modern filmmakers and actors. The legacy built over decades becomes a living archive of storytelling, inspiring new generations who discover classic films for the first time and appreciate the authenticity and grit that characterized earlier performances. The public sometimes frames aging as tragic because it challenges the myth of eternal strength associated with legendary figures, but true tragedy may simply be the universal reality of change. The bittersweet awareness that life moves forward no matter how iconic someone's past may be. Moments of reflection in later life often include humor, humility, and acceptance, revealing that strength is not only about physical endurance, but also about emotional wisdom and grace. In truth, the later chapters of a long life can be filled with meaningful experiences, private joys, and the satisfaction of knowing that one's work has left a lasting mark on culture and storytelling. Rather than a story defined purely by heartbreak, it becomes a narrative of endurance, growth, and the quiet beauty of aging with dignity while carrying nearly a century of memories that shaped both personal identity and cinematic history.